Royal reality, royal reality, this is reality, yelele ama, yelele 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 ama, ama. It was hell for them because the tragedy started with an accident, and then we left Anambra State, and then we came back to Imo State, and we became the villagers like we were never before. You know, we went to school with sleepers, sometimes none, and came back home. We eat things we are not used to, and all of that. And then he went back to Anambra State, leaving us behind with my grandmom. And later on, he was kidnapped for a year. We didn't see him. Nobody heard anything about him, and we were fatherless for a year plus. And then one day, he just walked up to my grandfather all of a sudden, and everybody was surprised, and we welcomed him. And then my grandfather went ahead to share his properties, and being my father was here, I think his favorite, and then he willed out his property, and I would say 50% of the property was 50% of the property was willed to my father, and that was where the battle began. It was a big battle for him and the siblings. So when he went back to the city, we went with him, and there's this sudden illness that came that he never sleeps, especially around 12, 1, 2, 3. We all be awake. Nobody sleeps. It continues like that until he was admitted in Gwakwalada Teaching Hospital in Abuja here. And then he went on like that. He was operated. He doesn't use the private part for urine and also for the proper natural thing. So everything passes through the tummy down to a bag. And he went on like that, you know. For some time, he was cool, and we came back to the house, and it all started again. He went back to the hospital. And then later on, we went to a church, and a man of God said that somebody will actually come from the village to pick up my father back to the village, that he should never agree to that. That will be the last time we will hear from him or see him again. But being a very sentimental person, like when he says a thing, nobody challenges him. You don't see another. So the lady came as the man said. That's the first daughter, and then said, since we've tried English medicine and all of that, and nothing is working out, that she would want to take him back to the village. And my mom reminded him of what a certain man of God said to him, and he ignored that. How is that possible that the sister came all the way from the village and you people are wanting him not to go back to the village? What is he doing here? And he left. And after a week, my mom got a call that he passed on. That was 2013. And then that we went back to trenches again. We started living in a, I don't know, wooden made house. We were, yes, Paco, like we say, in one tipper garage like that. We went back there, we squeezed ourselves there. We were happy because we just told ourselves this is where life has brought us, so we had to just go on. We were there sometimes, armed robbers, they come, and this Hausa thing, it's the majority of people living there were Hausas. And imagine an Igbo person living in the midst of those people, how it's always like. And then from there, we came out, we went into a single room. Life was just transforming like that, until And it was hell because imagine a single parent trying to cater for three, and then we hawked food, bread, a lot of things just to make sure we survive. Because at that point, my mom was too young, and then having not expected that these things would go like this, it was hard for us because. And then later on, she found a shop. She started selling food there and like that. And then we were together, putting things together, and I was able to go to primary school, secondary school, and then down to university, and then I graduated. But the truth about it is that some of those people I felt were my uncles, and after my dad died, they took everything. They went to Anambra State with a big truck and evacuated everything and came back to the village. We never accounted for any of them. But I didn't want to say some part of this story because I felt I've forgiven some of them and their kids. Because I was supposed to talk about this story the other time, but I didn't want to talk about it because I don't want, like my mom has already told me to let go. Because we left the house, we went to one of my uncles, we were staying with them, and then that it was a two-bedroom flat, but the woman never allowed us to stay in any of those rooms. Instead, we sleep on the passage, rain, cold time, and all of that. We just lay clothes and we sleep there year to year, month to month. And I keep asking my mom, like, is it that this man does not know that we sleep here and wake up here? But I don't know, should I say he was being quiet or was scared of the woman? This kind of marriage that when the woman says a thing, the man doesn't. It was like that, like that. But the beautiful thing about it is that, and when my dad died, he went to the village with the bank details and all of that. And I think after the burial, I searched his bag. I didn't find any of those things. Somebody made away with that. And the will that some of the properties my grandfather willed to him, and the documents, as I was about leaving to come back to Abuja, I didn't see the documents in my bags again. So and we came to an agreement that I won't go back to the village for some time now. I've not traveled down to my place because of fear of the unknown and a lot of things. Like there was a time I went and I was coming back. My grandmom. I'm this type that it has gotten to the extent if I go back to the village, I leave as early as 5:30, and I bring my things one after the other. I take them to the junction, come back because I didn't want some people who we speculated to be wrong set of people to know by the time I leave and at the time I come back. So there was this very man, I won't mention name. So a particular time I came back to see my grandmom and I was about leaving. That was as early as 5:30. And there's this particular position where he comes, one window, he comes and he sees everything. As I was about to step out with my grandmom, the window got opened and then, "Hi, my son, are you going?" And my grandmother was like, if anything happens to this boy, I'll hold you responsible. So my grandma made us know these people. We saw them and we don't take food from them, we don't eat from them, we don't take anything from them. But I think the beautiful thing about the story is that things are not the same right now, because if I look back where and these things and then I look what is happening now, like from my siblings, okay, the last person that traveled abroad, it was like that, and God made it. The money came and all of that. Now he's in Cyprus, and my mom, I can tell you, like by the special grace of God, things are just not as it were then. And all glory and honor to God. All glory to God.